Welcome back on the AM show. Let's do some other stories now. Now, after years of relying on a contaminated well next to a cemetery for drinking and other domestic chores, residents of Adimadim Ningo number 2 in the Ayenswano districts of the Eastern region have made a passionate appeal for the provision of safe water. The residents who massed up at the well on Sunday morning say they fear the sudden deaths and disease outbreaks in the community may be linked to the possible leaching from the cemetery into the well following recent rains. And they want the district assembly and the member of parliament for the area to, as a matter of urgency, rally resources to save the situation. Let's play the story and then we'll speak to our correspondent on the back of that.
Yes, you know, Musiano Sunie, is you know, Musiano Sunie, and near Musiana, Anna, a boss here, Etino, Sansiono, Musianusio, a Pia, a one, a cobo, Etiwedia, a Asamafoncio pa, a Ufonusio Nayanum. The son said, Ye Nisia, Yabanum Tia Fanisana, Buana Boya Yare, na a saying, a Musiano near, Insionu Sunie. Honorable MP Uma tete wonsuo hu Uma ewu wonsuo hu Uma ewo ohaw wonsuo hu etina anopei ye bo apim se mu giant na yanum sansuo we ekodu ba bi a anhwe a mu mbeto onipa ba kokra ye nyina ye bewu na afi asemfa na asenko efise ye ni akwanya bia se mu ana ye hwe se mu ba beye e de amaye etina ye ka se ankura ku bi beda ne ho adi se beba be ya ma oton ma ye nkra ye beto ne ye jasa nsuo we na ye nsu ye nya apomudin no bi said they are not here cause no water, no life. And now water is life. No, and I hear so say insuo eyenkwa edia and they are not yansu yankwa ho hia e wo man no yankwa ho hia mo beboa yen na mo boa yen so a nipa nyina beti se yesu frɛ no mo bai beboa ye wo besa tienka bebi amu be yensu amanye bia ye be gira no ya che Ghana force oh ye kan no honorable MP nini ye friend DC wo mo aba be ye mwaye na Ghana for nyina de asida ma mo ye sra mo se ye nimu hwia mo se mo ye bibi papa ma ye nga ye mfa mo asida ndi no man nyina beti de amoye ye hia mo mo a wo Yesu Kristo dimu na no pe ye de ye mo a ekire mo e wo pe se wo wini election a be ya de we ma ye nga nyame obeka ho na watumi awini election a watumi abon se mo aka se yo me dwene me manfo ho nyame so adwene me ho anope nyame one wo nkasa na tie na ase na beboa ye amen wo Yesu dimu amen amen yesia insu a yenum eno na mo hu ni insu a yenum eno na mo hu insu we edi o esedu opebre a no bi edru bi abegum se wo de cure over 5 years ni sa enuru no ebi amabio ma wo de begum na wan kase yenum anasa bisa enti insuo ho asem no de yesrem enu nko ana ehia ye enu nko ana ehia ye ya bre wo nsuo ho anope ya ye di kire mu kire se sa insuo we a yenum a ene amusie na ebo ohye no.
This is our drinking water, just what you see. It's even closer to the cemetery, so the rainwater from there enters the river.
Yadua yabema abakle na ma se musie nu ni nsuo nu na ebo yenya nsuo nu mtinu yabesi ani se asamanfo ho nsuo ewufo ho nsuo enu a yehwe a na ye vote nyina ye pegya ye vote nyina ne ye de abebom se panyan na DC na ya kam nyina bom na ya yam se mo behwe ye nso na edunioma bi se ya na ye diaro ye di ya wo ye mo se edi enti na ekosa se bi banya nsu anum a na ye bu bi gu fam na afi ebi nsu de nsu a wonum kra edi yare ebrewo ebi num kra fa wa wuwu na
This is right here in this country, right here behind us in the Eastern region. People are drinking water that is leaching from the cemetery. Let's get on the phone and speak to my colleague Latif Idris, who brought this story for more. Latif, thank you for joining the conversation. Now, the residents are now praying, not just appealing, but praying for God to intervene and help them. And they talk about diseases and recent deaths. What more can you share on this developing story? Latif, if you can hear me, please unmute. We can't hear you. We're trying to connect with Latif, who brought us this story, to shed more light on how residents in Adimadim are suffering drinking water from a well that is so close to a cemetery. And you can see them there praying and appealing to their MP. I think the MP for that constituency is Teddy Safori-Adi, and their assembly members to come to their aid, because the situation has, should I say, gotten out of control. This is really bread and butter issues. Basic needs, water, drinking water. And in fact, as you can see right there on your screen, someone just fetched that water and put it to her lip. It's so normal for them. And they're talking about recent deaths and sicknesses. Why won't you fall sick if you're drinking water that is coming from a well so close to the cemetery? In 2024, these are some of the things that Ghanaian citizens are grappling with. Lack of access to safe drinking water. But we're starting to connect with Latif. He brought us the story. We want to see what more he can report, if there's been an update, if the MPs or members, authorities have actually come to their aid. Latif is here with us. Latif, thanks for joining us. So I was just saying that this story that you brought is rather sad to see this. What more can you report on this?
Yeah, sweetie, I tell you, this is a rather desperate situation for the people of this particular community in the Suhum area, particularly Yensuano district. It is a very, very desperate situation, and the people are justified in every sense of the words they use in begging and appealing to authorities to fix the situation. So to better appreciate what the concerns of these people are, the only source of quote and unquote potable water, what you see on your screens right now, cannot in any stretch of imagination be described as potable. But that is the only source that these people have, the only source they depend on for drinking and all other domestic chores. The saddest part of this whole situation, sweetie, is that this water source, shares a boundary with a cemetery.
Right.
And this boundary has no physical wall separating it. There is nothing separating the water source and the cemetery. So essentially, the people are drinking from a water source by a cemetery. To put it bluntly, that is what the situation is. And the people they've not raised these concerns until recently, when they started experiencing rashes on their skins. And according to the source that's supported us, he said there's been sudden deaths in addition. And that is why now they've come out to raise the alarm for authorities to come to their aid and fix the situation. Because, like I mentioned, it's a very desperate situation they are dealing with right now, sweetie.
Is there any word from the Member of Parliament, Teddy Safori-Adi? I mean, the recent thing we saw of him was him endorsing the drip projects from, the president. That's the last time we heard of him. But has he been able to respond to his constituents on this really sad situation? Any word from him so far?
Yeah, so the district chief executive of the area, I spoke with her yesterday, tried to paint that picture of desperation within her jurisdiction. And in fact, what she told me is that it hadn't come to her notice. She's not aware of the situation. And for me, that took me back a little bit, because living within your jurisdiction and not aware of this very dire and perilous situation, I found it very curious. She hadn't been told about the situation, but I understand after engaging her, she sent a team to assess the situation. As to whether or not there's going to be an immediate intervention, we do not know, and we cannot speak to that. That is for the district chief executive. Now, when I got in touch with the Member of Parliament for the area, he understandably explained the vast responsibility he has on him as a member of parliament for the area, but gave the indication that he is also going to pool resources to see what exactly he could do to intervene to save the situation for the people. If these words from the leadership and authorities within the jurisdiction are anything to go by, then we expect something to happen within the next. I mean, this is not something that could be fixed today, tomorrow.
Right.
This is what we are talking about. If it has to be with connecting water to this community, that's going to take a number of months, if you like. So on the interim, the people need something to survive. They need something to depend on. Water, we say, is life. And these people have no water. They have no life, essentially. And that is why there's been sudden deaths and outbreak of diseases in the area.
Latif, before I let you go,
have given the indication.
Can we put a number to it? Do we know how many people have lost their lives so far?
I couldn't get that figure. He was unable to give me specific figures. And as to the number of people who have died and those who have, undergone a lot of, infections and are receiving treatment at various places, he couldn't put specific number to it. But what he tells me is that is the situation they are dealing with within that particular community, sweetie.
Well, Latif, thank you so much for shedding more light on this story. And we will try to connect with some opinion leaders, and if we are able to, the Member of Parliament and, Assembly members for this area in our subsequent bulletins. But for now, the people of Ayensuano are pleading. I mean, even if you're an individual and you have the capacity to come to their aid, this is an appeal to come to their aid. This is so inhumane, to be drinking water from somewhere very close to a cemetery. And now they're getting sick, people are dying. Please, Ghana 4, let's try our best for our citizens. Well, there's still more coming your way on the AM show. Don't go away. We'll be right back.